Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to Book Summary 5, the 5-minute summary channel. I'm Sammy, your host. Today we're exploring TheShack, where Tragedy Confronts Eternity by William P. Young, first published in 2007. This thought-provoking novel blends elements of spirituality, faith, and healing, taking readers on a journey through deep personal loss and the possibility of divine reconciliation. Let's explore the key themes and storyline so you'll feel like you've read it cover to cover. TheShack begins with a tragic event that sets the stage for the entire narrative. The protagonist, Mackenzie Mack Phillips, is a father of 5 whose youngest daughter, Missy, is abducted during a family camping trip. The search for Missy leads to a dilapidated shack in the Oregon wilderness, where her blood-stained dress is found, confirming the worst: she has been murdered. This horrific event plunges Mack into what he calls the Great Sadness, a deep depression filled with grief, anger, and a crisis of faith. Years later, still consumed by sorrow and struggling with his relationship with God, Mack receives a mysterious letter in his mailbox. The letter, apparently from God, invites him to return to the shack where Missy's dress was found. Although skeptical and confused, Mack decides to go back to the shack, hoping for some kind of closure or answers. What happens next is the heart of the story. When Mack arrives at the shack, he encounters 3 mysterious figures who represent the Holy Trinity: God the Father, appearing as an African-American woman named Papa; Jesus, depicted as a Middle Eastern carpenter; and the Holy Spirit, embodied as a wispy Asian woman named Sarayu. Over the course of a weekend, these 3 figures lead Mack through a spiritual journey that challenges his deepest beliefs, heals his wounds, and helps him confront the tragedy that has shattered his life. One of the central themes of TheShack is the nature of God's love and the question of why a loving God would allow suffering and evil in the world. Through conversations with Papa, Jesus, and Sarayu, Mack wrestles with these questions, expressing his anger and confusion about Missy's death. The novel portrays God as deeply loving and compassionate, yet respecting human free will and the complexities of a world where suffering exists. Mack's journey is one of moving from bitterness and anger toward forgiveness and understanding. The novel also explores the idea of forgiveness, not just forgiving others, but forgiving oneself and even God. Mack struggles with the idea of forgiving the man who killed his daughter, but through his interactions with the divine figures, he begins to understand that forgiveness is not about condoning evil, but about letting go of the pain and anger that are consuming him. This process of forgiveness becomes a path to healing for Mack, allowing him to begin the difficult process of moving forward with his life. Another significant theme in TheShack is the concept of relationship and the idea that God desires a personal relationship with each individual. The novel emphasizes that God is not distant or detached, but deeply involved in the lives of people, yearning for intimacy and connection. Through his time at the shack, Mack learns to see God not as an abstract, authoritarian figure, but as a loving presence who shares in human suffering and joy. TheShack also delves into the idea of redefining our understanding of God. The unconventional portrayal of the Trinity challenges traditional views, encouraging readers to think about God in more relational and less rigid terms. The novel suggests that our human understanding of God is limited, and that God's ways are often beyond our comprehension. Mack's journey is as much about unlearning old perceptions of God as it is about discovering new ones. Throughout the novel, the shack itself serves as a powerful symbol. Initially, it represents the place of Mack's greatest pain, the site where his daughter's life was taken and his faith shattered. But as the story progresses, the shack becomes a place of transformation, a place where Mack's wounds are healed, where he encounters the divine in a deeply personal way, and where he begins to understand that even in the midst of tragedy, there is hope and redemption. By the end of the novel, Mack emerges from his experience at the shack with a renewed sense of faith and a deeper understanding of love and forgiveness. He returns to his family, forever changed by his encounter with the divine. Although the pain of losing Missy remains, Mack has found a way to live with his grief and to embrace life with a new sense of purpose and peace. In summary, TheShack, Where Tragedy Confronts Eternity by William P. Young is a deeply moving novel that tackles profound questions about suffering, faith, and the nature of God. Through Mack's journey of grief, anger, and ultimately reconciliation, the novel offers a message of hope, forgiveness, and the possibility of finding peace, even in the midst of the darkest circumstances. It challenges readers to think differently about their relationship with God and to consider the power of love and forgiveness in the face of tragedy. Thank you for tuning in to Book Summary 5, the 5-minute summary channel. If you enjoyed this summary, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Until next time, happy reading.